Hola Humans, I go by the name of Jared for those who don't know, and for those who do know, what's the vibes? Let's get right into it. Arguments, guys. Let's touch on arguments. I have to say that we all think that arguments is not a healthy thing to go back and forth with people or with whoever it is, but just in general, arguments is not healthy. If you're always in a relationship with someone and you'll keep having arguments like that back and forth, sooner or later it will seem like you'll have some kind of toxic energy. It will turn into toxic, right? It will turn into toxic. And the reason why I wanted to touch on arguments is because we often say we don't want to go back and forth with someone, because after a while it will be labeled as you all both are toxic, you all are just not good for each other, you all should just break up. And then there is the friendship onto, or the, you're close friends with a childhood friend, so some of us call them our family and not friends anymore. I want to touch on the point that it's not all arguments that are unhealthy. And yeah, I know y'all might be putting your face away, but let me tell you why. I feel like certain people, guys, bear with me, I think some helicopter is flying somewhere, obviously. I feel certain times in our lives, we just have friends or lovers or people that we're close to, and if you don't have an agreement with them, you might never know what kind of person they is. Sometimes everything nice and lovely and derby, and you'll have an understanding and everything is crisp and clear, but all the time just one day you'll have an argument, and then you get to see how the person perceive your words. Am I using the right word? How they take your words. You get to know how they take you when you say something about this and something about that. And sometimes we human beings like to think we can read people's minds, and most of the times we don't, but most of the time some of us do, because we stay long enough to see certain patterns people have, and when you say certain things to them, you would see how they react and how it is with them and how they would take it. So I feel like arguments is necessary at times, because it can show you who people are, or how they take you, how they look at you in general, or how they take the words that you speak to them, or you utter to them when you're having your arguments. So it does be necessary, because, and then that can end up determine the relationship that you'll have, if it will stay or if it will go. Because I'm telling you guys, there's certain arguments that are healthy to take, and then there's some that are not. And we do know sometimes, because that end up making you go and sleep, and you cannot well sleep because of whatever you all said to each other or whatever it is. And some people, it doesn't affect them like other people. So then if the person didn't take it that way and you take it that way because of what the person said, and sometimes the person didn't mean what you think they meant, it will have you not sleeping, it will have you looking at things differently, it will have you even, keeping yourself away from people in general. But sometimes it will have you getting back on track, because you made certain promises to yourself and you was already forgetting it until you got reminded of it. So I feel certain arguments is healthy, because you get to know who some people are when it comes to that. I'm not saying that you cannot still be cordial with the person. If you see the person, tell them hi, hello, or you all cannot work it out, because certain people had arguments with people and that brought them real close. They thought they was close, they wasn't close yet. It's when you had that argument, then it really bond them together, it really brought them together and made them strong, and then they started seeing who each other is by starting to communicate more and stuff like that. So I feel certain arguments are necessary, and some are still necessary, whether or not you all get back closer or you all split apart. Because sometimes, look at it that way, if you all didn't have the argument, and then you all would never know how it is, and you would just go on in life thinking the two of you are like that or like that, and all the time that you've been wasting all that time, later down the road, after having 10 to 15 years, you have that friendship with the person or that relationship with the person, you're saying nowadays, wow, I never knew that is how the person really was, or that is how the person, took that, or that's how they've been looking at me the whole way, or thinking I am the whole way. And you trying your best as someone to try to avoid certain things, because you know certain patterns, because you've had a relationship in the past, and you learn certain things about people, and when you put it all together, you can see the signs. Certain people, they can just feel certain things are going to happen to them. They don't know what it is, but they can feel it. So yeah, I think certain arguments are necessary. It makes you get closer, or it makes you not have to waste so much years with someone, only tomorrow to turn back and have to start all over back and with them, or they were the one that was causing certain things to happen to you the whole time they're behind your back and you didn't know. Because I just give people the benefit of the doubt until they show me what they're about. Until they show me, because we would say, okay, all the time that you're going back and forth with the person, you'd say something and you see you're going to get in an argument. So you would make them think that, okay, you're alright with that. You're not going to even get into it. You're just going to say, okay, alright, right. And all the time that the person thinking the two of you are on the same page, and you are not on the same page because you don't want to go back and forth doing that conflict thing, back and forth, that argument stuff, for it to get toxic. So you've been saying, okay, you've been being the bigger person, and then you ending up creating people that thinking they have it like that with you there. They can even turn into monsters as well too, because all the time that you are agreeing to guess what they're saying, thinking that both of you are on the same page, and the whole time there are people thinking, hey, both of us are on the same page, then that's right. And then all the time you're just trying to avoid certain things because you have seen certain things in them, you know they're gonna take it far, and you don't want to do that. So we do that too as human beings, and yes, that's not healthy too. And I feel like when somebody said they've had enough, they tell you no, they don't want to do this and that, and I feel people to just take it. Maybe in due time the person will come to realize that maybe it wasn't that of a big deal. So guys, let's just stay true to ourselves and just speak our truth and just let them know arguments is not always unhealthy, but there is some that are unhealthy as well. And on that note, I say stay blessed, peace, and later.